Good afternoon. Today we're going to do something again for Ernie. Ernie likes his breakfast bars. And so what we're going to make is we're going to make some breakfast bars. Now I don't have a true recipe for this, but here's a rundown of some of the things we're going to put in these breakfast bars. We're going to put in some honey, some hemp seed, some strawberry preserves, some peanut butter, some pecans, let's go over here, some almonds, some wheat germ, some apricots, some dates, and then I'm going to top them with these marshmallow bits and some melted chocolate. So let me get a little organized here. Let me get everything out of the package and in a cup or whatever, and we'll be right back. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roast these nuts. Now I've got about a cup of almonds in there and about a cup of pecans or walnuts, I'm not sure. And we're just going to drizzle some olive oil over them. And we're going to set these to roast on top of the stove here until they give up some of their oils. So we'll be right back and we'll add the next ingredient. Okay, my nuts are nice and toasty roasty there. And I have my Black & Decker, my trusty Black & Decker that I've done a product review on, and I've made several recipes with this. And in this we have a whole package of dried Mediterranean apricots. Okay? And then we also have a whole package of these chopped dates. So there they are in the Black & Decker. And what we're going to do is we're going to crunch them up. We've got the chopping blade in there, and we're going to chop them up. So just a second, I'll be right back. Now you can use your pulse. I think that's good. Now, into this, I'm going to add these nuts and pulse it a few more times. So, let me get that, and okay, now we've added those nuts to the dates and the apricots, and we're going to put on the lid, and we're going to pulse it a few more times. So let's see what that looks like. Well, that looks pretty good. That's about where I want it. Now, this oil, I don't need all this oil for these breakfast bars. So I'm going to pour some of this oil out of this pan. Okay, I've got the nut mixture from my Black & Decker. I've got it here in the pan, and I saved some of that oil. Now we're going to add the honey. Now, I keep my honey in the refrigerator. I live here in the South, and I have quite a problem with ants. So my honey stays in the refrigerator, and I had to microwave it a little bit. But I got about a cup of honey here. So let's get that in there. In just a second, I'll go get my next ingredient also. That's gonna, I'll have to scrape that out. So hold on, let me get my spatula. Okay, so now the next thing I'm adding is this strawberry preserves. So I've got about a cup of these strawberry preserves here. And now that'll go in. So now for my next ingredient. Okay, now I've got some hemp seeds. Straighten out that package so you can read it. I have some organic hemp seeds. Now I don't have very much of them. Probably about 1/4 of a cup. So I'm just going to add all of my hemp seeds in there. Okay, next I have some wheat germ. And I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup of wheat germ. So let me mix this up now. So I've got this all mixed up, excuse me. Now I have some shredded unsweetened coconut. And I guess I got about a cup of that. So now that goes in. So let me mix that in and we'll get our next ingredient. Okay, before I mix that coconut in, the next ingredient I'm adding is some crunchy peanut butter. Now, I'd say that's about 2 cups. So let me get to mixing. Okay, the next thing we're going to mix in, I had about a 3/4 jar of this marshmallow cream. And I went ahead and put it in the microwave, and I went ahead and put that in there. So we're going to get this mixed up, and we're going to see where we're at. We're going to see what else we need. Okay, now this that I just added was some plain white flour. Now I know that may seem a little odd. We're not making cakey breakfast bars. But this will be a good binder. But as you can see, we've got a nice consistency here. And I'm going to mix this flour in now. Okay, we have our flour mixed in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the heat. And I don't want to cook this. But I do want to get some heat on it to soften it up for the next step. So let me get this where I want it, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, it's softened up. So now for the next step, we're adding 4 cups of uncooked rolled oats. And I'm not sure if those were the instant ones or not. I don't think it was the instant ones, but it was the rolled oats. It's not instant, but it's the quick cooking rolled oats. So we're going to mix this up now. Okay, now see the consistency on this? It looks a little bit dry, but not crumbly. See how that's falling off the spatula? Okay, that's where I want it. See, sticks together pretty good, but not completely. So now let's prepare our baking pan. Okay, here's my roasting pan. It's a nice big roasting pan. And remember that oil that we poured off of the nuts? Well, I sprayed the roasting pan with Pam. I don't use Pam name brand, but I use a non-stick spray. And then I poured that oil in the roasting pan. Now we will put the mixture in the roasting pan. Okay, I have the mixture in the roasting pan, and I've used my cup here to press it down firmly. Now let me give you a little tip here on your roasting pan. Notice this is a light colored roasting pan. And then, of course, you can get the dark speckledy kind. Well, the color of your pan can determine the brownness of whatever you're baking in it. So let's say you're making biscuits and you're having trouble with the bottoms getting too dark. Try using a light colored pan to cook them on. Now, let's say you're making biscuits or cake or whatever, and you have a problem with the bottom not being as brown as you want it. Well, then use a darker pan. Now, I don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. So, here we go. I've got that all nice and crunched down. The next thing I'm adding are these marshmallow bits. Now these are the same thing. Let me get the jar open just a second. Okay, I'm going to add these marshmallow bits. Now these marshmallow bits are the exact same thing like what you get in Lucky Charms cereal. See, they're puffed little marshmallow bits. And I'm going to make a nice thin layer of these on top of this. So that's my next ingredient. Okay, I went ahead and just put the whole container on there. This is kind of a leftover breakfast bar thing anyway. Now, if I was going to stop here, I would press these down into the top. Because they don't melt like you would think chocolate melting. But I'm going to add one more thing. We have some chocolate, I don't know what you call those. They're buttons. They're not, now these are not chocolate, but they're those melting buttons that you can make different desserts out of, different melting chocolates out of. Well, I have some white ones there and some spicy ones. There's some pumpkin spice ones. So we're going to lay this over the top. That's our next ingredient. I put those candy discs on top of this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stick this in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to check it at 20 minutes. If it's not doing what I want it to do at 20 minutes, then we'll just leave it in a little bit longer. Okay, y'all, it's been 20 minutes and I'm checking it here, and it's not quite where I want it. For some reason these discs haven't even melted. Didn't think they tasted that good anyway. Ernie liked them. But now look here, see, I'm not getting quite what I want. It shouldn't be moving quite that much. So let's leave it for another, let's say 10 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so here we go. It's been 10 more minutes, and I like it now. Yeah, I like it. So now, before this cools off, I'm going to cut this into squares. Now, these are going to be breakfast squares. Ernie just really loves it. So, we'll cut this up into the squares that we want it before it cools off. Now, I'm not going to use a really sharp knife there in my roasting pan. I don't want to scratch my roasting pan. Okay, now I've cut these in squares. Cut 1, 2, let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 going this way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going that way. Now it may seem, well, why cut them when they're still hot? Sometimes they can set up so hard that if you wait till they completely cool off before you cut them, they're harder to cut. But now they've got the base cut on them, and these will need to cool completely before I take them out of the pan. So now we're going to let them cool, and we shall see what the finished product looks like, and Ernie will do his taste test. Okay, y'all, we've got them cooled down, and I've got them each individually wrapped, so Ernie can just grab him one and take it in the living room and watch TV and munch on it. And here they are right here. I'm going to cut this one. See how they're not totally chewy, but kind of chewy. So Arnie, grab you that piece I cut off there and speak loud. So now see, I put them in this container, wrapped them up individually, put them in this container. I just used sandwich bags because that's quick and easy. And they'll be in the refrigerator, and Ernie can grab him one and have his breakfast or snack or whatever it might be. So Ernie, what do you think?
Good.
Say it louder.
Good.
So there you go, y'all. There's the breakfast bars. Done my way. Snack bars. But they are good, and they're easy to make. I just kind of used some of my leftovers. You want to eat the rest of that one? Ernie's already ate one. I never make them the same way twice. I just use whatever I happen to have on hand. Now, I almost always put the oatmeal in there. And I always put nuts. But the other stuff, well, you know, if I've got some dehydrated bananas, I'll put that in there. If I've got chocolate chips, I'll put that in there. If I've got some leftover fiber cereal, I'll put that in there. But that was my basic recipe. Peanut butter and honey and the jelly. And they are good, y'all. So thanks for watching. Hope you try it.